Thursday morning, 8:15, time to talk to our friend Dr. B, Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of People's Health, about senior health and an important topic this week. Hey, Doctor, how are you?
Hey, Tommy, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm all right, trying to stay dry like everybody else and not succeeding.
Yes, this is pretty terrible weather.
It is. According to the CDC, more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 fall each year, and of those people, less than half tell their doctor. Dr. B from People's Health is going to talk to us about that. And, Doc, those of us that have had elderly parents know this is a very important topic because it's not just the fall itself, but it's the complications that can make a fall so serious.
Yeah, definitely. Falling is extremely common, especially in older adults, and that's why it's so important to understand what you should do if it happens, and also some things that you can do to prevent it. And most falls are completely preventable. The one thing is a lot of people may fall down and not get hurt the first time, but the second fall could be a lot more serious and result in a lot more problems. So usually we say about 1 out of 5 falls can really cause a truly serious injury.
My mother's been gone for a while, but one of the more heartbreaking things was she fell and broke her shoulder and was on the floor for a couple hours before anybody found her, and that's just terrible when something like that happens. So we're trying to prevent that today is why we're talking about it. Who, Doc, is at risk for falling?
Yeah, so, definitely older adults are at a higher risk, but there are a few conditions that are more likely to result in a fall. And one of the biggest ones is actually weakness in your lower bodies, so weakness in your legs, because it makes it harder for you to stand and balance. People that have foot pain, in addition, may be a little more cautious when they're taking steps, and that can cause them to misstep and actually fall down. Anybody who has balance issues, and as you get older, some people can develop some dizziness or some vertigo-type problems, and so we see a much higher incidence of fall in that as well. And then the other thing to keep in mind, there's a lot of medications that we put you on for your chronic medical problems that can actually be a little, sedative, or they can, cause you to be a little bit sleepy, and that can make it more likely for you to fall. That can be something like blood pressure medicines, antidepressants, and certainly any sleep aids, which we really don't recommend in our senior population. And then, the other thing to really watch is, are there hazards in your house? Uneven steps, a lot of clutter on the floor. Sometimes even your pets, cats and dogs, can get under your feet and result in falls as well. And then the other thing, about falls is what you worry about is that they result in a fracture. So it's real important to make sure you've got strong, healthy bones. And if you have osteoporosis, which is thinning of the bones, that can actually result in a fracture, or even a low vitamin D, which is what we get from sunshine. You'd think you'd have a lot of vitamin D living in South Louisiana, but if you don't leave the house that often, you may have a low vitamin D, and that also can result in something like osteoporosis.
So CDC saying more than 1 in 4 adults fall, and half of those don't tell their doctor. And not only if you fall should you tell a doctor, but you should really tell a doctor if you even think you're at risk, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You really should ask your doctor to evaluate your risk, and in most cases, we will actually prompt you. In fact, we really should be asking all of our senior patients, what's going on in their homes, have they had any falls, are they worried about falling, to really evaluate what your risk is. And the reason that's so important is because we can probably teach you some exercise or give you some tips that can help a little bit. The other thing, like I mentioned with the medications, we can review what medicines you're taking, see if maybe there's any interactions, and really understand, too, are you taking anything over the counter that could result in dizziness that may result in a fall. There's a lot of cold medicines that are over the counter that contain Benadryl or diphenhydramine in them, and that can actually make you dizzy or sleepy and really increase your risk. And then, like I mentioned, vitamin D supplementation can be really important here in Louisiana, especially summertime. We don't go out as often because it's so hot. So we want to make sure you've got plenty of calcium, plenty of vitamin D to keep your bones real strong.
And exercise is pretty important?
Yeah, exercise is critical. It not only helps to build up that bone mass, but the more physically fit you are, the better you're able to kind of handle a situation where you might fall. So, if you feel like you're going to trip, having better agility and balance can actually help you catch yourself before you actually fall. And if you increase the strength in your lower extremities in particular, that can help your balance and flexibility so that you can prevent yourself from falling down.
I don't know if I tell you this story or not, but I was giving a car away at a casino, and a gentleman was playing a slot machine in a rascal, and he turned to me and said, "Don't ever lose your legs." And I can remember that like it was yesterday, Doc, and that stuck with me, man. So I'm making sure that I'm keeping those legs strong. So we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about preventing falls in your home and clothing. That can even cause some problems. 8:20, time for traffic now on WWL. 8:24 on the button. Tommy Tucker, WWL, talking to our friend Dr. B, Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of People's Health, about senior health. Very important topic today, falling and fall prevention. So what Doc, are some tips for seniors and preventing falls in their home?
Yeah, the most important thing is you have to be able to walk around your house without tripping on things. So you've got to keep things clean, keep your rooms clutter-free. But in addition to that, a lot of homes in New Orleans have hardwood floors, and hardwood floors can be slippery. So it's really important to make sure you've got carpets or maybe runners to provide a little bit of extra traction. And if you do carpets, the really critical thing is making sure that they've got a back pad on them so that they grip the floor tightly. What you don't want is to step on a carpet and have that actually slip out from under you as well. And then another thing a lot of people don't think about is lighting. So, if you're in a really dimly lit room and you get up to go somewhere and you don't see something, you may bump into it or trip and lose your balance and fall down. So, what we tell some seniors to do is keep a flashlight alongside of them if you're in a darkly lit room, or make sure that you keep the lighting up, especially important at night. So if you're getting out of bed to go to the bathroom, for example, then you want to have the ability to either turn a light on or have a flashlight so you're watching where you're stepping. And then, the other thing is just don't use a step stool. If you need to get something out of a high cabinet, they make hand grabbers that can help you reach things. Get somebody to actually come over and help you get something. If you absolutely have to use a step stool, you really need to get one that's got good handrails on it and very wide steps. But in general, I tell people just don't do it because you're increasing your risk of falls. And then one of the most common places we see falls happen is in the bathroom. So there's a lot of things you can do, like skid-proof rubber mats in your bathtub or shower. You can even get some grab bars installed, so if you do feel like you're going to slip, you've got something to grab onto. But that's one of the most common places we see people fall down.
And perhaps make it a weekend project. Go help your mom or dad. If you look at it, maybe the things that they use the most are up high, and the things they use seldom are down low, and you might be able to reorganize that way. What about clothing? Can that cause people to fall?
Yeah, definitely. In particular, shoes are critical, and a lot of people don't think about that either. They may walk around, just in bare socks or stockings, maybe flip-flops or slippers, and those tend to be a lot more slippery. You really want to make sure that you're wearing low-heeled, rubber-soled shoes because those provide a little bit more grip, especially on carpets if you've got those. And that'll help prevent falls as well. The other critical thing, kind of clothing related, is wear your glasses. If you have trouble seeing and you're supposed to be wearing glasses, make sure you're wearing them when you get up to walk around, because if you can't see where you're walking, you're more likely to misstep and possibly fall down. And then, the other thing, too, is make sure that you keep your cell phone with you. Almost everybody's got a cell phone. If not, maybe they've got a cordless phone. And keep that by your side so if something happens and you do fall down, you can actually reach out to your family or someone to let them know what happened to you. Kind of gives you a little bit of a extra safety net as well.
And that happened with my mom, like I said, and that still haunts me 20 years later. What other elements can be a factor, Doc?
Well, I mentioned dizziness from the medications, but there's some other things that can actually make you dizzy. In particular, in our seniors, sometimes either being too hot or too cold can actually make you feel a little bit dizzy as well. So you want to make sure you keep your house at a comfortable temperature. You really want to limit your alcohol consumption. Alcohol actually dilates the blood vessels, so when you stand up, you can actually get a little bit dizzy and possibly fall down. And when you are standing up, the other thing to remember, if you're a senior, is you should do it slowly. You don't need to jump out of the chair and run somewhere. You want to actually kind of slowly go from sitting to standing. Make sure that you're stable on your feet before you run off to do something.
What about if somebody does fall?
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. It happens all the time, and kind of a couple of things to think about. You know, immediately, like I was saying, if you've got a cell phone or a communication device that you can reach out to somebody, do that right away. But then, you know, once you've recovered from that fall, the other thing we see a lot is people are scared that they're going to fall again. And because of that, they really start to limit their physical activity. And keep in mind, when you start limiting that physical activity, your muscles get weaker, your balance gets worse, and you're actually doing something worse for yourself by not staying up, moving around, exercising and stuff like that. You actually could increase your risk for falls. So you don't want to let a single fall scare you. You want to keep doing things, but maybe slow down a little bit, do them at your own pace, and definitely talk to your doctor about that.
And you all have another virtual presentation, Doctor, about falls and preventing them?
We are, and this one's great. It's How to Prevent Falls. It's on next Wednesday, May 26th at 10 o'clock, and you can sign up for that at our website, peopleshealth.com/wellness.
And it would be a good idea for adult children to kind of take a look, right? Do a little scouting in their parents' home and look for hazards?
Yeah, in fact, that's critical, actually. You know, you should, if you're the senior, invite your kids over to take a look. If you've got older parents, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye out for them and keeping them safe.
Thank you, Doctor. A pleasure as always. Some good information. Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of People's Health. We'll talk to you again, Doc.
Thanks, Tommy. Talk to you soon.
You bet. You can go to peopleshealth.com to find out more. You can call 866-687-7335. You can follow People's Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Time now for WWL First News, and for that we go to Dave Cohen.